Hi, I'm Dan from the Rock Nerd Radio Show. Back when I first started getting back into Transformers around 2007, there was one Transformers character that I thought was really cool. He looked awesome, but he was going to be hard to get because he was a Japanese exclusive character. In fact, he was a pretender named Metalhawk. I've been lucky enough that over the past number of years of collecting, in the US we have gotten two versions of Metalhawk. One was an exclusive in a box set, one has been a mainline Transformer. And today, we're going to take a look at which is better. Either the Titans Return version of Metalhawk or the current Legacy Evolution version of Metalhawk. Let's see if we can't find out which one is indeed better.
Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show.
As always, the first round on which is better is our paint and overall appearance round. Looking at the Titans Return version of Metalhawk, it does need to be said that this is a repaint of the Titans Return Trigger Happy. So it's not an original mold, it's not like an original figure design. I guess it is an original figure design, but it is really just a repaint. And while it looks neat as a very futuristic-y kind of spaceship, it might look like something else that you might have on your shelf. The new one, the Legacy Evolution Metalhawk, his jet mode, while again it is a repaint of Cyclonus with some remolding on it, does look very much like the G1 inner pretender robot shell of Metalhawk. You know, it looks more like a jet that is maybe believable that you would have seen on Earth than this one. All right, now let's get them transformed so we can talk about their robot modes. And here are both of our Metalhawks in their robot mode. Couple things that I do need to make mention of that I think are really cool on the Titans Return version is that they have this like fake gold painted chest on him. The original one did have some gold on the figure. I'm not entirely sure if it suffered some gold plastic syndrome, but it does look more metallic for a character named Metalhawk. It does look really cool. The robot mode isn't completely G1. It's almost IDW inspired, IDW-esque. It's not bad, but when we look back, and I'm not trying to say it's bad, but when I look at our Legacy Evolution one, this robot mode is pretty much spot on to what we saw in the Masterforce cartoon. It's missing the gold paint on it, which is kind of a bummer for me. I really would have liked to see that gold paint applied to the chest, because it's really just this chest region and the head. Nothing else on him would have needed to been painted gold. And just thinking about cartoon aesthetics and G1 and things like that, for me, our Legacy Evolution version is going to win round one of paint and overall appearance. The second round is the articulation round, and the Titans Return version, it has some articulation that has become pretty much standard by Transformers standards today. So we do have the ability to kind of move his foot. There is knee joints. He can swivel here. Legs can kick up and down and in and out. He does have waist rotation, which sometimes Transformers don't have. Of course, at the shoulders can move up and down, full 360. He does have bicep swivel, which is nice, although the wing here kind of inhibits where it can go at times. Actually, all the time. You could kind of move this out of the way to get a little more, but we'll talk about that in a minute. There is no wrist articulation. It can bend in for transformation, but other than that, that's all you get there. And for the head, it's on it. Remember, this is a Titans Return Titan Master, so this head is on a little bit of a ball joint, so you can get some waggly in there. You can, of course, turn him to, make him look different directions, but there is a little bit of movement there depending on how tightly you're pegging that little head into the receptor there. Our Legacy Evolution Metalhawk has somewhat similar articulation to the Titans Return one. We'll start back at the feet. Now, there are ankle rockers, which I very much like Transformers to have. There's a little bit of forward, and it kind of stops here at the back because of transformation bits. So again, foot movement, maybe not what you would necessarily want, but how much do you need with the Transformer? Knee joint, and because of the transformation, you can kind of get some extra bend here, so you can display that how you like. Of course, the thighs move up, down, in, out. There is thigh swivel, which is nice. Waist articulation, which I honestly forgot that he had. but it is there, it moves. His head is on a ball joint. Now, because of like his chin, he can't look down very far, but actually maybe it's not a ball joint. You know, I take that back, it's not a ball joint. It moves up and down because of transformation, so it can look left and right. It doesn't do the whole like wiggly waggly quite like Titan's Return does. As far as the shoulders go, you know, they spin, they move up and down, and really cool like extra design going in there for the shoulders. At the elbows, yes, they can move. Again, wing gets in the way of full movement, just like on the Titan's Return one. And in terms of the hands, nothing at the wrist. They can again slide in for transformation, but that is it. So really, in terms of articulation, both of my Metalhawks are pretty much on par. The only big difference, I suppose, is that this one has the ankle rockers, while the Titan's Return one doesn't. But the Titan's Return one, you get a little more head movement out of it. It's not a lot, but it's enough to really make me say that neither one of these can be said to have better articulation. So I'm going to call round 2 a tie. For round 3, we're going to look at the accessories that each of these Metalhawk figures come with. And it does need to be noted that I don't think either one of these is perfect with accessories. The Legacy Evolution one comes with a sword, and it looks very true to the Metalhawk sword. I'm just not in love with the color. It looks a little too light for me. But then there are also these two blasters, which can kind of peg together like this to make one big blaster. So of course he can hold all of these in his hands, but what I do like about these blasters is that the original Metalhawk figure, the Japanese Pretender figure, the inner robot could have his blasters kind of pegged to his feet, and I believe this was also done to give him like extra wings in his vehicle mode. So if you don't want him to hold his blasters, you can still peg him there, which are onto his legs, which are neat, and you can give him his sword. Now I do like the sword, but I feel like it needs to be darker. I feel like this shade of gray, it looks very light. I would have liked to have seen a darker shade. I guess that they're going for the same color, or it was all gang molded because the blasters are the same color. And, you know, they are neat. The blasters look good in either mode. You know, he can just kind of hold one like that, and it looks like a good blaster. If you want to peg the two together and not have anything laying on his, or stuck to his legs, you can do that too. I always kind of get weirded out when a Transformer is wielding a double peg blaster like this. It always looks a little off to me. But, you know, overall, not bad accessories. Our Titan's Return Metalhawk has just the same amount of accessories, because technically, you can count his head as an accessory. Yes, during the Titan's Return line, every Transformer, their head would pop off and make another little tiny robot that could pilot their vehicle mode, or sometimes even if you merge their weapons together, it could act as like a pilot for some kind of vehicle mode. So now, Metalhawk here, you know, it does count as an accessory, but I do enjoy my robots to have their heads firmly placed on, unless they were always an original headmaster. In terms of weaponry, he does have two blasters that, just like our new one, will peg together to be a larger blaster. Now, the difference between this is, while on the Legacy Evolution one, the pegs are on the bottom, these pegs are on the side. So you can kind of have him holding a gun like this, and for some reason, having a gun that has the pegs like up and down doesn't bother me like it did for the Legacy Evolution one when both pegs are on the bottom. I don't know, it's probably some weird brain rot thing I have. Another cool kind of gimmick when it comes to this figure is if you fold his hands in, he can have these like extra long blasters. So even though they're not additional accessories because they're part of the robot itself, this is a cool like fight option, and it is something that, you know, like if you really wanted to, you could display him like that, like those are his weapons. Now, this Metalhawk was missing out on a sword, so I do have a, I believe this was made by Renderformer, this sword that I gave him, and honestly, giving him this, as well as his blasters that he came with, makes him look pretty good. Now, you know, I had to buy this separately, so I can't count this as a stock piece of weaponry, but the sword is such a big thing for Metalhawk for me that I really feel like it is iconic to him, and it's something that he kind of needs. So, like, if I stand this one over here, yeah, he looks cool, but my Legacy Evolution one literally already came with the sword. I like this shade of gray better than this one. I can always mix and match pieces if I want to, But because of that, in terms of accessories, I have to once again say that the Legacy Evolution Metalhawk is going to be the winner of this round. When it comes to price and availability of these figures, this is kind of a big issue. As of the filming of this video, the Legacy Evolution version of Metalhawk is available in most stores. I got mine on Hasbro Pulse, and he sports a price tag of $35. The Titans Return Metalhawk was part of an exclusive box set called the Siege on Cybertron box set. Has nothing to do with War for Cybertron Siege. But the Siege for Cybertron box set was pretty pricey when it came out. If you're looking for this figure loose right now, get ready to spend between $60 to $80 on him. It's a big difference. This is also a deluxe figure, while this is also a Voyager, and for $35 versus $60 to $80, I feel like this one is worth more of your money right now. I really do wish he had a gold chest on him, but I can't justify the price for this figure, which is essentially a repaint, and to me doesn't look like the G1 version. So our Legacy Evolution Metalhawk wins our price and availability round. My final round for today is the display compatibility round, and this is a round where I really have to ask myself where this character is going to look good on my shelf, and I tend to go to the G1 side of Transformers. That's what I collect. Nothing against anyone who likes any other eras of Transformers, it's just what I prefer. If I am looking for a straight up looking G1 Metalhawk, I have to really give it to our Legacy Evolution version. This looks like the inner robot of that Pretender shell from the G1 Masterforce toy line and cartoon. This one looks loosely based on the IDW version that was in the comics. It's not 100% accurate. Again, it is a repaint of Trigger Happy, and I know that this is a repaint with remolds of Cyclone, remolded bits of Cyclonus. But for a G1 version, I have to really say that Legacy Metalhawk is going to be the winner of this round. If it were going to be a fight to the death, clearly Legacy Evolution Metalhawk has won on today's version of which is better. I have to say, both of these were pretty good figures. You know, I have no problem having owned the Titans Return version. If this was still the only Metalhawk I had, I'd be fine with it. I just like that our Legacy Evolution one is a little bit closer to what we see on the screen and what that original toy's inner robot looks like. So there you have the results, in my opinion, of which is better. Honestly, when it comes to an exclusive versus a mainline thing, the mainline one tends to win out just because it's easier to get. That's the way I see it. But let me know what you thought about this. Do you have either version of these Metalhawks? Is there one that you prefer over the other? Let me know in the comments. As always, you can like, subscribe, and check out the Rock Nerd Radio Show podcast on your preferred podcast platform. Until next time, I've been Dan. You've been awesome. See you around.
Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show.